Hi, this is Joy with Stuff to Discuss. And those of you that are tuned in with me and Denise, we are starting a new, not a new channel, but it's kind of added on to Stuff to Discuss. And it's going to be one-on-one with Stuff to Discuss. It's going to be interviewing celebrities and everyone that is educating them on their careers and what's going on. And we're going to start off with filmmakers on how they produce, direct, what they go through. And right now we have this beautiful two guys here, which is David Rivers and Ty Haisten, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Hi, how's it going?
Yes. And along with this is Raymond Galluccio, which is, we'll add him in later to, he's part of the project. He's coming in as an actor as well.
And comic relief.
There you go. So we're going to start this off with a question with Denise. And Denise, you're on.
Okay. So you guys both have, it seems like in such a short span of time, you've accomplished so much. So I'm just curious, what made you want to pursue filmmaking?
Oh man, start with the tough one. Ty, you want to take it off?
Yeah, you know, that's a tough question. I've since I was younger, I kind of knew I wanted to do some kind of job in the industry. I didn't really have access to equipment, so my cousin, she got married and she gave me her camcorder basically to use. She said, "Can you cover our wedding for us?" And I probably had it for a few months, and I was, I can't remember how old I was, 10 or 11 or something. And I took that opportunity to shoot as much as I could just to kind of get the feel for it. So I made, some stupid stop motion animation films and really got the gears moving. And then when I was in high school, again, I was a little bit delayed. We had a TV program, but I didn't join it right away. It took until my sophomore year, my junior year, to actually join that. And then after that, I just knew I was in love with it. And right after I graduated, went to Riverside College, RCC, joined their TV program. At the time, I started a company too. We did wedding videos. And just kind of from there, I was kind of dabbling in every facet that I could in terms of the filmmaking. And then happened to meet David some years later, we can never get the date right. Was it 2012 or something?
I believe it was 2012. It was my senior year.
Okay. We started talking projects. I think you wanted to bring me on just to write something, some ideas that you had, and then you could probably tell the story of how things developed with you because you had a business too. And then, it kind of grew from there.
Awesome.
Yeah. See, like I didn't know I wanted to be a filmmaker until like high school, but it was kind of one of those things where it was like, I never really thought I could do it until I met Ray and Joanne, who kind of helped me figure out that, anyone can really, really do it. And I had a couple ideas in mind, and me and Ty had a mutual friend who kind of introduced us, and we were going to do this a competition at first where they would show it at the Oscars, and then after that me and Ty just started working on more and more projects.
That was your Make Lemonade thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was helping you edit that. I do remember that now. Okay.
That is cool. That was
great.
Right.
Like,
wow. Well,
I like the stories. I like the back.
That is awesome how you guys paired up that way. And thank you for that, giving us credit, because we thought we didn't do nothing.
That's great.
You always had the potential, dude. You just needed a vehicle to catapult it.
That's right.
We saw that in you, and so that's awesome. I'm glad you just ran with it. Now, what's harder, getting started or being able to keep going? What do you think it is, being a filmmaker?
I think personally it's the keeping going.
Yeah.
Once you have that motivation, there's nothing stopping you from, I'm in a class right now with David, and one of the things that I wanted to try, because I'm down a camera. My camera got stolen a couple of years ago.
Oh no, sorry.
And so I wanted to try my phone out. So that's sort of my experimental project that we have to work on. And I'm doing it just to show that you don't need big fancy equipment. You don't need much. If you want to make movies, if you want to make projects, you can do it with what's in your hands. And I think that's, for me, that's the factor between success and failure, is the motivation, keeping that motivation up. And so it's definitely, I'll say it's harder to keep going, but it's also hard to get started, that initial push that you need to get started. But once you do, I mean, the challenges just keep pushing forward, basically.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
See, I'd definitely say to keep going, because the first one's easy. First one could look terrible. You should see mine and Ty's first thing we did. God awful. And then it's the next one. It's like, okay, well, how can I improve? How can I improve?
Yes.
And sometimes it's just kind of figuring out new ways to be better.
Right. Got you. No, that's perfect. Perfect. And Denise, you have something else to?
Yes. So I'm just going to read my question home.
We're cheating. Good question. I like those answers.
Okay. So when inspiration and creativity, when they seem to be like nowhere in sight, right? So what do you do and how do you stay fresh?
You know, that's my
Like what I do is, so I will watch a lot of YouTube videos and I kind of draw inspiration from those. Me and Ty are actually talking about doing like an anthology series that I started thinking about after spending a couple nights just YouTubing all these different kind of videos. And Ty kind of got on board with the idea, and so we're writing up a couple stories for it.
Good.
Oh, that sounds cool.
That is awesome.
That sounds so cool.
Can't wait for that one. Yeah.
I know.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
And for me, I'd say, you know, I've through the years, I've had different, I guess you call them rituals or just things that I would do to kind of get in the mode, to find that inspiration. A lot lately, though, I've been finding podcasts, listening to, there's podcasts out there that talk about the process, and it's from writing to producing. I find that gives me a little inspiration, but it gives me the motivation. Lately I've been kind of browsing headlines, and I'll go through, there's Reddits that I'll go through, and people have, you know, they'll make comments, and I'll save those comments and kind of put them in an idea bank. And really it's just kind of to find the creative ideas is just looking at your surroundings, and for me anyway, and kind of taking pieces of that and seeing what I can create with it. But you can ask David, he's been kind of the idea man, but I kind of, once he has the idea, I kind of roll with it. And
oh yeah.
The yin and the yang thing.
Throw it on there, yeah.
I'll come up with the concept, and then he'll just start rolling with it.
You just roll. Hey, I knew it. Yay! That's when you know you got a good partner.
It works. Yep.
Oh
yeah. Yeah. Okay, so as a filmmaker, how does financial restrictions affect moving forward, making a film? There you go.
Well, it doesn't affect Ty. It affects me.
Okay.
I'm the one telling Ty, we don't have money for that.
That goes back to the whole budget thing again.
Yes. Budgeting. Yes. There
Exactly.
You go. And
well,
it must be hard to do, because I mean, you're like, to me, that would be mind-boggling, because
yeah, definitely.
God, where am I going to get the funds? How does that work?
You know, I'll say, I feel like this is true of all of our projects. We'll keep that kind of in the back of our minds, at least when I'm like creating an idea from whatever David's given me. I'll keep the budget in the back of my mind, but I won't let that restrict us creatively. Oh my gosh, I can't speak creatively.
Okay. I'm giving you the same questions.
Yeah. And that way we can just let whatever story needs to come out, and then we worry about the finances later. And I'll be honest, I don't know how we've done it with our projects. We've gotten good groups of people together on each project. They've all contributed in, you know, one way or another, and it's like a happy accident, just kind of coming together, and you know, we make decisions. If we don't have the budget for something, we make decisions to you know, cut some things. But I'd say in the beginning, I don't let the budget restrict me as much.
Yeah, the first draft we never let it, but then after that, that's when it's like, all right.
Start having to real
stress happen. Yeah.
Like with When It Rings, we actually had this one fight scene in there, but we didn't have money to, you know, pay a stunt coordinator. We didn't have enough time to film a whole fight scene, you know, because we're trying to make 8-hour days.
Right.
Yeah. No
So
overtime. Yeah, we couldn't afford to pay
So
overtime.
when fight scenes, or you need like a fight or something explosive, if you did have that in your budget, then that's a problem, right?
Yeah. And this one was this is just a fight. There's no like explosives, but we ended up just kind of getting creative with it by doing a shot on the door, and you just hear the fight.
Oh.
Yeah.
And when watching that in the editing room, it was like, wow, this creates a lot more suspense like that.
Right.
And that decision came down to the lunch break just before we were leading into that scene too. We're like, we don't have time. We were kind of losing our day a little bit because certain shots before took a little bit longer, and it was a super low, I won't say super low budget, it was a low budget film, and we just didn't have the flexibility to add days to our shooting schedule, so we had to work with what we got. So that idea came to us while we were eating pizza on lunch.
Yeah, literally like an hour before we had to film it.
An hour before, yeah. And everyone was on board with it, and I think it turned out, honestly, I think it turned out much better than if we tried to coordinate a fight, even if we had the time.
Wow.
Yeah, it adds an air of mystery.
Yeah, that must be amazing to like come up with the creativity right there on set, or
Yeah, I don't know how they do it.
Yes.
I don't know how they do it.
Exactly.
Improvisation.
Basically, just kind of thinking on the fly.
And communication. I mean, we had a table of like 5 people trying to figure this out.
Yeah.
Wow.
It wasn't just me and Ty. Yeah.
We had our assistant director there. We had our DP there. I think we even had maybe a production assistant with us. I don't remember exactly who.
We had the second AD with us too.
Second AD, yeah. So it was just everyone kind of came together, and that's how I like to approach projects too. I mean, we might be the directors, the writers, producers, but really it's always a collaborative effort.
Yeah, everyone's making the film, not just us two.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Good.
Exactly.
Good.
What is the one mistake most filmmakers make, regardless of experience?
Hiring their friends as actors.
Of course, not talking about me.
No.
Talking about that man. No, just kidding.
I love that answer, by the way. I just love it.
We had a short that could have been so much better, but we didn't have money. I think we had $100 budget, and we spent it all on food for the actors.
Yeah.
Oh no.
That's where you go.
And the acting was just so bad.
Alcohol would be cheaper.
Yeah.
They're acting too.
It might improve the acting.
Yeah. That's how I act. I'm mostly in the bag when I'm acting. So
you carry a flask.
Yeah. Who needs a liver?
Ray has been in all of our projects, and he's always great, except for When It Rings. But that was because he was busy the one day he was supposed to film.
Oh yeah. Tried to squeeze.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Just to piggyback off of that though, I would also say the other biggest block and it's not just for beginner filmmakers, it's for it's every filmmaker, and that's like kind of believing in yourself, and I think you're your only obstacle really. It has nothing to do with whether you have the time to do something, whether you have the money to do something. You could have both and not be motivated to do that, and that's going to be your biggest obstacle, is getting past, I guess, yourself, I think.
Getting out of your own head, I guess, right? Pretty much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Got you. All right.
Y'all got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
All right. So the next question is, how do you know when your story's finished, meaning when to walk away? You might want to add, you're like, God, I need more to this, but you just can't finish it. It's the story that you're trying to share.
That's tough, honestly.
Yeah.
When I'm writing, I never feel like the story is done. Even When It Rings, our movies, Stage 3 and Home Movies, those 2 shorts, I never felt like they were really truly done. Like I wasn't done with them. But there has to be a point where you have to be okay putting out what you have so far, and I feel like that carries over into even when you're producing the film and then editing it, post-production. At some point you have to cut yourself off. You have to be done with it, or you're just I would fall into this endless cycle of you know, always wanting to kind of finesse things, and we just never get done. So
Yeah. I mean, if it was up to us, we could still be writing When It Rings.
yeah.
That'd be forever.
It'll be a 3-part series,
That's right.
Right?
like
Yeah,
Harry
that was-
Potter.
Yeah.
Part 1, 2,
That's
3,
true.
and 4.
Part 2, 3. That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my biggest thing with When It Rings. I'm like, it was an opportunity, so you never want to pass those up. So we only had a limited amount of time to write the movie, but you know, you always hope for a little bit longer. And you know, this is the same with When It Rings.
Yeah.
I wish we had one more week to write, you know, to kind of finesse everything. But you know, you got to play the cards you dealt.
Yeah, because
Right.
sometimes Hollywood's like, we need it now.
Right.
And so you're like, all
Well,
right, well.
doesn't that go into it editing too? It's like when you want, he's like, hey, this
Oh,
is
yeah.
good. And then they say, nope, we got to cut that out. So you got to try to make sure which one is
Yeah.
the best.
Yeah, because editing's like the same with writing. You can keep editing and editing and editing, and at some point you just got to be like, you know what, it's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and that, I mean, we definitely pushed the limits when we were editing When It Rings. I mean, there were some technical concerns too, but when it came down to just making the cuts of the picture, we were really pushing it. I know we would edit scenes and go back and re-edit them, you know, and then cut stuff up. And
Yeah.
can I say how long we spent on that? It's no mystery. We shot the movie in 2016, and I think we finally
2017.
2017.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we finally finished.
In
Editing?
November of 2019.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or no,
What?
2018.
I think you're 20. No, I think you're right. See, we don't even remember. The point is,
Well, it
it's
kept-
been years.
No, because we
It's
we had the final cut, I think, in March.
It was a March of like 2018 or something, 2019.
Okay.
We had
Yeah.
it for a good
Well,
couple of
'cause-
years at least before
Yeah.
Yeah,
before we
Halloween.
turned it over to sound, and then
it was 2
sound
years.
had it. Yeah.
Some Halloween
Well, the-
pass, right?
People don't realize that editing takes forever. Just watching Justin, our tech guy, editing is not an easy thing. Oh, just do this.
Yeah.
It takes forever to get the right shot and scene and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Don't you have to like figure out like, okay, what do we cut and what do we keep? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how you do it. God bless you.
You're right, Denise. You're so right.
Because I would
Yeah.
think every piece
And
is
it- and
valuable.
it's
Like, what do
tough.
I get rid of?
I don't think we ever ran
Yeah.
into, except for one scene in particular, I don't think we ever ran into where we needed to cut a whole scene out of it. Honestly, we were pushing the clock, so everything that we shot we needed. So I think that was good during production, that we didn't really waste any efforts too much.
Yeah.
Everything for the most part ended up in the movie. It was just how
We don't
can
have any
we-
deleted scenes.
Yeah, we don't have any deleted. Maybe one chunk of a shot scene that's still in there and it still exists, but it's difficult.
Oh,
to
you know what? You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had
It's
one
a-
fight
it's
scene
a-
we did
It's
cut
a
to.
fight. It's another fight scene that we had to adapt to, and we actually did shoot that fight scene, but it didn't turn out as good as we hoped. So we got creative in the edit, and yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just
Yeah. Sometimes it's not what can we cut, it's how do we cut it
Mhm.
exactly, yeah.
and still make it look good. I mean,
Yes, exactly.
we ended up doing shots, like a year after production wrapped,
Yeah.
Oh wow.
to kind
Now,
of
shots.
fix.
Are you talking about tequila shots? Or are you talking about actual
Oh
shots?
my
Like-
God.
There were
I blame Denise.
You know, you know what? He is right. He is the comic relief.
No, we went with the camera to get some exterior shots and try to fake some shots to make it look like we filmed it when we first did the filming, just so that we can cut out some stuff.
yeah.
And it worked.
And even in the beginning, once we, and it never came up during the script time or the production, but once you're in the edit, we realized the movie just kind of starts. There's not really a whole lot of backstory, and it's a little confusing to get into the story. So we ended up at the same time that we reshot some footage for the scene, we reshot the beginning of the movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, over a year and a half, something later, 2 years later. And I think it helped. I think it's better for it, definitely.
Yeah. Awesome.
Mhm.
Good. All right. right, Denise, you're up.
Oh, okay, hold on.
I don't know. I don't know anymore.
Listen, I'm trying to avoid putting my glasses on. So
It's okay. It
The
makes you look
struggle is
intelligent when you have
real.
glasses.
Oh Lord. Okay. So we hear so often about the lack of original stories. You know, like we keep on seeing the same movie over and over again with just different actors. So how do you stay fresh in the face of an idea like that? Like, how do you make it where, oh, I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen this story or this plot line, or like, how do you do that? Because we do see a lot of that. It's like,
Yeah.
it's, you know.
I have to say though, it's kind of unintentional.
Yeah.
Because me and Ty weren't like, oh, let's pull from this movie, let's pull from this movie, let's pull from this movie. But
see, that's what I would do if I was a creator. I would cheat.
Me and Ty are watching movies. Me and Ty are watching movies now, and we're like, oh my gosh, this is like When It Rings. Like, we use this dialogue, we use this stuff. So a lot of it can be unintentional.
Yeah, agreed. And I mean, you do get influenced by stuff that you've watched.
Yeah.
And I think you do see some of that in cinema, but a lot of it too, I think, is just, I mean, it's more coincidental, because you could have, you could give 10 different writers one sort of idea and get 10 different stories out of it. And I think it just comes down to in the beginning anyway, the writer, but the director's going to give a different vision. You could give the same script, or you give the same script to 10 different directors, you get 10 different movies. So I think it just comes down to the unique ideas of the writers, and I think just some ideas are general enough where it seems like they are the same idea, but it's told differently. So that's just so I kind of try to ignore that. I used to think about that a lot, like, oh, this movie's a lot like, XYZ movie over here. Do we even need to make it? But I'm like, we need to make our movie. So even if it's similar, it's going to be different.
Okay, so is it the filmmaker's responsibility to find and develop their audience?
I would say it is important to know your audience. I guess it depends on the project you're doing, but I think it would be important to know your audience, like who's watching this movie. When I think about things like that, I just think about myself and what I would want to watch. So the audience for something I'm working on would be me and people who, are like, I guess, who share similar tastes or whatever. But I think that's most important. I don't think it's a good idea, and it's not something I've done, but to cater to an audience, I guess, or to try to latch onto an audience that doesn't exist or you're not sure. So just, just make the movie for yourself, and if it's good, if it's something you'd want to watch, chances are other people want to watch it too.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, you got to keep in mind, like, the age restrictions. Like, you're not going to go make a Disney movie and have, language in there that shouldn't be in there.
Why not?
Because that's when you get the producers telling you.
Don't judge. Don't judge. Be experimental.
Oh boy.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't ever think you should limit yourself to an audience.
Okay. That makes sense. I got you.
As a creator, how does this affect the stories you tell and how you tell them? Since people can find other ways to watch these things, like the movies and Netflix series, say. Like, so how do you?
I don't think it affects anything at all. I feel like there's still stories to be told, and I feel like now that there's more mediums for those stories to be shown, it opens up I think if anything, it opens up the kinds of stories like we're used to seeing in the movies, big blockbusters. You don't see a lot of just character driven stories, but with Netflix and Hulu and Prime Video, you get to see those stories that wouldn't necessarily make it in the theater. So if anything, I think I definitely think it's been better for movies. We're just getting more experimentation, I think. So I think, I don't think it factors into the ideas that we come up with or other filmmakers come up with. If anything, it broadens that, I think.
So it gives everyone like access to having more exposure because now there's so many more platforms that you can.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So more platforms, more stories to tell. Yeah.
I mean,
if anything,
especially
I think people are getting more creative with their ideas.
Yeah, and more platforms for people to post their stuff because I mean, there's a lot of our friends that have got stuff on like Amazon Prime because they're pretty loose. I mean, I probably know more people that have their movies on Netflix, Hulu, or Prime than I do that's actually been in a theater or on TV.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Okay, so now here's the deal. Now, when you're going, how did you go about casting for your project? Is that a hard thing to do when it's now you got to go through the whole casting thing? I know you probably covered a little bit of that when we was asking how do you get started and all that, but just take us through a little bit of the casting process.
Our first step is which character is Ray.
Yeah.
This is what brings Ray in. This question brings Ray in a little bit. Yeah.
There he is.
So
no, we didn't really like for When It Rings. We didn't really do the casting for that. The other producers did.
Because I wasn't in it. That's why.
No, for that one, it was more like, oh, here are your options. You know, what do you want to do differently? Or who do you want to get?
Okay.
But for our other projects, well, for like home movies, what did we use? Backstage?
I think so. Yeah, you had more of a hand in on that than I did.
Yeah, we used Backstage, and that was a fantastic.
I didn't know Backstage was still going on unless I'm looking at Backstage a different way because I used to go. They had their own magazine book out and.
Oh yeah, they have a website and. If you're an actor, you can put your profile on there. If you're looking for somebody, you can put your project on there.
Still going on. Good.
Yeah. Nice. That was the first time we actually casted.
Oh.
Because normally we'll just call up our actor friends, be like, "Hey, you want to do this role or do this role?" But Backstage was actually a really fun way of doing it because it's difficult too, though, because what we had like. I think we had like 30 people audition for one role. Right. And then out of that, we liked 5. And then out of those 5, 3 responded back.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. It's kind of difficult because some of them are like, oh, we just apply to everything. Some of them are like, oh, I didn't even like read what the project is. Or that.
Because that's what you want to do.
Right?
Exactly.
Well, like we had this one like mom and daughter. It was in the film. It was a mom and a neighbor. And this mother and daughter applied. And we liked the daughter for the neighbor, but we didn't like the mom for the mother. And so she told us, oh, well, if it's not going to be both of us, then it's neither of us.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So you have to deal with stuff like that, too.
Yes. I got you. That's amazing. All right.
That project was great. I felt like everybody that we finally did cast and got on board was 100% on board. They didn't feel like they were doing us a favor by being there.
Yeah.
If we have friends on the project, they're not, they're committed to us, but maybe they're not as committed to the project. But this was different because everyone was kind of on board and wanted to make this project great. And I think it turned out great for it too.
Oh yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. That's cool. I've seen you guys' film, parts for what that you showed us on, and basically it's outstanding on how you guys cast. And but I was like, where'd you get that person at? That's awesome how you get, because you can. I didn't realize how important casting is, but you want to cast the right people. Yeah.
I mean,
we've been in some films that the casting was extremely wrong.
He's like that.
And I couldn't contain myself. I went full Deadpool in the theater and made Joanne a little nervous.
Especially at a screening, he can't do that. But yeah.
When you're sitting right behind the actor.
No. One thing that we do too before casting is kind of get who do we want. Like if we had the budget for anybody, who do we want? And then we try, Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser, yes. You're still gonna get him. I know one day you are.
Oh, we will.
Just kidnap him, dude. That's what you do.
Right. But then we try finding the actors who kind of submit. We try figuring out which one's the best one that kind of fits our vision.
Mm. Gotcha. All right. So Denise,
Oh,
is that me or you?
oh, you know what? This is for Ray over there.
Yeah. Hello, Ray.
Stand by. Get ready. Hit the mute button. Get ready.
We will.
The censor button.
Our tech guy is ready.
I've been trying to behave so much throughout this whole thing.
Yeah. Got you. Please behave.
Okay, my brother.
Yes.
Okay. So, were you worried about what they had to offer being new filmmakers when you were interested in playing a part?
No, I know. You know, I trust both of them. I really never had a issue with them because you know I know them both personally. You know, and you know whatever they needed, pretty much. I mean, outside of full frontal nudity, I whatever they want. You know.
You about to be muted.
See, that's the only comment I made.
Wow.
But, no, you know, like I'm sure, like when they actors and stuff, you gotta trust the director, trust the writers and stuff like that. Then they're gonna put you in a situation where it just would be totally out of your character because if you don't believe in what they're writing, you're gonna give a crappy performance. Kind of like what singers sing a song they don't believe in, it's flat as hell. But when they sing a song they believe in it, you know, same thing with acting.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta believe in the words and believe that you could actually portray that.
Okay, that's a good one.
And can I say one thing before I want? Thank you.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I want to address the elephant in the room. My background here sucks. Dave has strategically placed a stormtrooper helmet and a Captain America shield. Had I known, I could have put props in the back too, but you know, he's showboating.
Another room, sir. We got all the props.
He's showboating. But even that's better than the flowers and stuff I get back in. Yeah. I got to talk to the interior designer of our house. Get that taken away.
Backdrop. Okay.
Background's always important.
So, can you guys tell us how you got acquainted with, you know, Raymond as far as like wanted him to start him in your movies? Like we talked about the casting. So, you know, what made you say, "Hey, we want Ray in this particular part"? Or you just
I would go back. That would go back to like one of the first things me and Ty did together. We had to shoot a commercial for a company that my parents kind of help. I say company, it's a drug and alcohol addiction charity.
And that's why they picked me.
Awesome.
And
I don't
remember what got us, but we were like, you know what, let's get Ray on board. Because I mean, at that point,
an alcoholic. Casting, very important.
Yes, it is.
No.
No, we didn't have that great equipment. We had like no connections to anybody for actors or anything like that.
That project we had to shoot exclusively with no sound.
Yes, that's right.
I have to say though, when I first saw you do the project, that was my first time meeting you, Ty.
Oh yeah.
And the way you was so intense, I mean, you were like, I don't know if you noticed. It's like you were working on $1 million.
He was in his zone.
Oh.
But I like that about you. I'm like, God, he's serious. He's totally serious about work. So that was like awesome. I like that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, and I mean, like at that time too, I think like Ray and Joanne were my support system.
Oh,
I mean, so it's like let's use my support system to kind of help me out, and ever since then we've just kind of been casting Ray.
Yeah.
Well, you guys rocked it. You can tell about Ty was talking about earlier about you can have like a little tiny rinky-dink camera or whatever. You guys talk about the equipment, but you couldn't tell if and if you can put on direct people to where they can get a link of that video, you couldn't tell that you were working with not the best, greatest high-tech equipment. It looks like it's shot, like $1 million equipment and stuff like that in Hollywood production type thing. So, I mean.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I think you guys handle that so professionally, and
yep.
That's the good thing about that. When you start off like that with the little things you have, and then you're starting off like if you were given $1 million or whatever to put on this project, that is a good thing, because that impresses us. People are watching.
And I think from the get-go, that's David and I have been on the same page with that. Like we might only have $100 budget, $1,000 budget, whatever, but we don't want it to look like a movie with $100 budget. We're gonna, make it look clean and try to make it look, that way you're not distracted by the quality. You can just kind of focus on the story, focus on the performances, and you're not distracted by, well, this looks like someone's first project or something, or
Right. Yeah.
it looks like it was shot on a webcam, or to knock people who have done that. We just
that would be
work with what you got, basically.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Is it Denise? You're up again or no?
Oh yeah, I am.
I know she's all involved.
She's got the whole in the zone tie thing going on right now.
I know.
I know. I'm like, wait, wasn't this?
The house could be on fire. I got to look at this question.
That's right. Okay, this is all right. So this question is for everybody. So, do you think it's important to have chemistry with the people that you work with?
I'd say so.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be, though, from the get-go, because, I mean, we've worked on projects with other people where everyone's a complete stranger, but you get that chemistry, and then once you have it, it's important to kind of, maintain it.
Mm-hmm.
I know one project I worked on, we were about halfway through, and this one guy could just never get chemistry, and so he was unfortunately fired from set. But at the same time, we had good chemistry with one guy, and he ended up kind of screwing us over.
Oh, wow.
And neither of those guys were me. Just going to throw it out there. They keep me drunk. That's why I'm happy.
He caused one of the biggest delay in When It Rings, and it kind of really did hurt us. So chemistry is important, but,
professionalism too, right?
Yeah,
professionalism, chemistry is important, but what's more important than that is communication. I feel like it comes right down to it. If you can't get along with someone, and sometimes personalities clash, as long as you guys are still on the same page, at least you don't have to get along. As long as you're on the same page, and they have the same vision of the project, then you're that's what you need. But yeah, chemistry does definitely make more things come out too.
Make your job easier to come every day to work with them. Yes.
Exactly. Yes. That's why with projects like with Ray, I mean, we'll work with him on every project. So we'll develop a group of people who we want to, who we want to bring back onto other projects, because we know how they work. We have the group that we worked with on home movies. I mean, two of the producers there, we're going to work on other projects with them, just because we have that chemistry. So once you have it too, and you found it, keep it as much as you can.
Yeah.
Now, home movies, is it finished or is it not? Is it?
Home movies is finished.
It's finished. Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys have to. That's tuned in. Have to definitely look at that. That is awesome.
Let's throw it out there. I know it's going to be mentioned, but because I'm interested, where can people catch all these things you've done? Is there a platform they could catch it on?
That was the next question. Thank you, Ray.
I have a shared.
I'm like the unofficial third co-host.
Oh God.
That's okay.
Yeah. No, we have a couch or a chair next to our computers, and we can fire them up for them.
Sweet.
Hey, we haven't posted them on like YouTube or Vimeo yet, because we've been trying to take them to the festivals.
Got you. Yeah.
And a lot of festivals, they have like I forget what they're called. They're like first look deals or whatever. Showing deals. So you can't have shown it and distributed it, or exhibited it rather, anywhere else, they won't accept it. So it makes it challenging. But some of our work, I mean, you can find some of our Nerd Rush stuff. We'll, obviously eventually we'll post back up on YouTube again. But I think it's Nerd Rush TV. And I know we have a Trick Shot Media YouTube channel that we just kind of post some of the work that we have there, but we don't really push it or promote it or anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that going to be something you're going to start doing as we get back into out of quarantining and all of that?
Yeah, once we get back to Nerd Rush, that'll definitely be, we'll be more present, and in that, and the social media. It's just, things have been in the hiatus, so we haven't done too many updates. Really the only the only link, I guess, for When It Rings. You can go to whenitrings.com. We're working on building a site for it. It's not built yet, so that just links to our When It Rings Facebook page right now, and then you can click over to see some of the behind the scenes photos and videos and stuff for that, and trailers.
Yeah,
so
trailers,
When It
teasers,
Rings.
posters.
Got you. Hey, Ray, do you want to promote something that you think that can get out there for? I mean, we got you on because you was a part of the project when you speaking as an actor, but
I dabble in a bunch of different stuff. Lately, I've been helping out our tech guy Justin. We've been doing this paper bag puppet thing. It's on Justin Talks Puppets. It's crazy how we built a paper bag like you build in kindergarten, and now he's got. I think the last video he's over 9,000 views on TikTok. Build puppets, different stuff. I'm always dabbling in stuff to keep my marriage happy and safe, so I don't drive my wife insane. So that's pretty much
the insanity part. Yeah.
Well, we're both crazy. That's what makes a marriage last for a long time. But I just stay creative. I do a lot of prop making, build beach cruiser type stuff, just different creative type of stuff to keep myself out of trouble, like I said. So.
Do you have anything that they can find you at? Any you mentioned Justin Party Puppets? That's with your son.
Yeah, if you go Justin Talks Puppets, you'll see some of the puppets I've made. And yeah, we'll put a link up, whatever, so you guys can see it. But I've been helping him out because that's what a parent does, supportive type of stuff. So
I make some cool stuff.
Oh, then I might be in another movie with Dave. So,
yeah, now that we're here, yeah.
So,
you didn't even know that.
Yeah, Ray just found out today that he has a series he might be in.
Yeah.
And I'm not opposed to doing full frontal nudity. We need to do.
I blame Denise.
David, okay, listen. Every time I talk to him, he keeps on mentioning that he's, somebody. Okay?
That's a lie. It's what happens when you put out. It's a damn lie. Even though I am on IMDb. So check that out.
Very good. You can have that as a t-shirt. I am on IMDb.
I'm the comic relief. So that's why really I'm on here. Actually, the comic relief. For any other reason, that's pretty much it.
Joanne, we might have to include him in things.
That's right?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to wrap this up a little bit more, but we're going to have a little bit of fun. But one more question we're going to ask you. I think Denise got that question. What is it that we talked about you want to ask?
Oh, the audience, yeah. Oh, what advice do you have for young filmmakers and actors? I don't think we asked that one.
No, we haven't.
No.
You have any advice?
Find a partner. It's easier with.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to.
Yes.
I would not be able to do half the stuff that we've done without having Ty there.
Oh, thanks.
Aww.
You guys are like Bert and Ernie. I mean, pick who needs to be Bert, who needs to be Ernie, but yeah.
Bert, stop.
Abbott and Costello,
Oh, my
Blues
God.
Brothers.
Ren and Stimpy, Blues Brothers, yeah.
I think not. There you go. Well,
Yeah, and I would say just keep trying. Don't give up. Basically, if your dream is to direct, if your dream is to act, if it's to be behind the camera, just don't give up on it. This is a tough industry. It's a tough industry to break into, and it's gonna definitely. I think fortune is gonna favor the motivated and hardworking, those who just keep pushing. Really, when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
Just keep at it. That's what I have to tell myself all the time.
I find if it's something that you love, right, you don't have a problem doing it.
Exactly.
These people that think I'm just going to be an actor, and then they went, okay, I tried. It's like, no, you got to push. There's a reason why a lot of actors are waitresses and waiters and busboys and working different grocery jobs, because that helps them fuel their passion. Because right away, directing, acting, whatever, it's not going to hit off right away. Everything, overnight sensation. No, that person's probably been working for like 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then they finally, let's see, overnight sensation. No, they've been actually working behind the scenes and doing what they had to do to get to that point. There's never an overnight sensation. ever.
No one's plucked off the street and thrown into.
Yeah, right.
Not usually. I'm sure there's stories, but yeah.
Well, back in the 20s and 30s, but that's another
Yeah.
issue that we have. When we have
That's
only
when
a mature
actors were
audience, we can.
owned.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
They were on a casting couch. I don't know, maybe something.
I remember hearing years ago there was I can't remember his name, but he didn't start acting until he was in his 50s. Now, granted, I don't know what he was doing. He must have, I don't want to swear on here, but he must have been really, working his,
De Niro.
you know what I mean, to get there.
His
And then
magic.
maybe that's when he, So
There's been quite a few. Yeah, I mean, there's been quite a few actors who have been successful in their later years too. I mean, you should just
Morgan
Google it,
Freeman.
you'll find them. Yeah, Morgan Freeman, Patrick Stewart. I mean, he did theater, but he had a late start in his film career. Harrison Ford was a carpenter before, landing American Graffiti, I think was the role.
Liam Neeson was a truck driver.
Was he?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
We should do a series just on that. What did they do before?
yeah. It's super fascinating, and honestly, anytime I'm like, oh, I'm getting so old, and I'm really not that old. Come on, I just think about all these people who, they're 40, 50, and they're meeting their success finally. So, that's motivating. It's inspiring.
Because someone
Yeah.
has to play Santa Claus and Gandalf. So just gonna throw it out there.
Okay, so all right, so we're wrapping it up with some fun thing to do with Stuff to Discuss, this 101 trivia speed round. There's gonna be 13 questions, so you all can contribute to it. It's pretty fun. Okay, all right, so if you're ready.
Ready.
All right. Texting or talking?
Talking.
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 Okay. Nickname your parents used to call you.
Oh, man.
I
Damn it.
can't say it on this forum because
Yeah, right.
it's profane.
Denise?
What's our audience?
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. Invisibility or super strength?
Strength.
Invisibility.
Super strength.
Okay. First celebrity crush.
Dave Rivers.
Yvonne Stravotsky.
Who the
Who the hell is
It's a speed round. It's a speed round.
Kate Hudson.
Yvonne Stravotsky? I don't know who. I would say
Bro,
Diana Franklin.
it's the blonde girl from Chuck.
Yes, I know who she is.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
I thought it was a dude. I'm sorry. You said Yvonne.
What did Ty say? What did you say?
I say Kate Hudson or Audrey Hepburn. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Diane Franklin from Better Off Dead.
There you go. All right. Cake or pie?
Pie.
Cake.
Hi.
Okay. Favorite junk food?
Pie.
Reese's.
Pizza.
Hi.
Favorite childhood TV show?
What's that?
Favorite childhood TV show?
Okay.
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm gonna be dating myself. Scooby Doo.
Dating this.
What's yours, Ty?
That's hard actually. I like Transformers Beast Wars actually.
Got you.
Okay.
Got you. All right. Deadpool or Star Wars?
Deadpool.
Deadpool.
Sorry, Ray, but Star Wars.
Oh,
Well, no. But the old or the new? That's what I want to know.
No.
Star Wars. They're grouped together still.
They're grouped together. That's true, right? All right. Favorite movie of today?
Well, they're all crap. So none.
It rings.
Oh, yeah. Wait.
Wait,
All right. You know what?
I would say the new
Rapid fire,
Ghostbusters
ready
movie coming
for
out.
projects.
Ghostbusters Afterlife.
There you
Oh
go.
yeah,
There you go.
There we go. I saved
I'm
it.
excited for that.
What did you say, Ty?
What? Oh, I said home movies.
Oh, movie. There you go. You're
I like that. Hell yeah.
on.
I'm gonna change my answer, Monty.
You gonna change your answer? Yeah, thank you.
The home movies.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, and the last one is ask permission or beg for forgiveness.
Oh, forgiveness for sure.
Forgiveness.
It depends on the context, but I'd say ask.
Ty, you took a while there. All
We
right.
gotta fully commit,
Especially
that's
in
why.
filmmaking, it's like, oh, I didn't know we could film here.
Yeah, for filmmaking.
Sorry.
I ask forgiveness later. Yep.
There you go. Right there you go. All right. Well, thank you guys for your time and
Oh, of
allowing me and
course.
Denise to just get that out there what you guys have done.
Yes.
Again, we're looking forward for your projects and to actually be on film festival, all the stuff that you guys do. I know you guys are gonna do great.
We really appreciate you taking your time today.
Oh,
Really
thank
Oh,
you.
of course.
Awesome. Awesome. And a great day is going to come your way. So again, this is Joanne with Stuff to Discuss with me and Denise. Also, we're going to be doing more of these one-on-ones with Stuff to Discuss. And, make sure you like this channel and also subscribe. And thumbs it up. Yeah. So basically, yeah. So thanks again, Ray. And David, all right, and Denise as well.
Oh,
And
of
thank
course,
you
thanks
all.
for having us.
yeah, we'll talk to you again. See you in the next video.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.